What's up, guys? Welcome to the R Strong Podcast. I am your host, Gage Rozier, and today is another Strong 5 episode. This is 5 minutes of behavior, nutrition, to training, whatever the topic of the day is. We'll keep it short, keep it brief, and a lot of this, guys, is material that I've taken from other people that I follow and moving it on to you and applying it to what we do with R Strong and hopefully keep it practical for you to apply in your daily life. So today I'm going to talk about a concept called discipline over default. Discipline is something that I had dug into quite a bit between Jocko Willink's stuff, discipline equals freedom. And today's kind of topic is going to come originally from the guys at Focus 3, the same guys who did the E plus R equals O podcast I did on the last Strong 5. This is discipline over default. Again, from the guys from Focus 3, some of these ideas, and I'll talk a little bit about how we can apply that. So what is discipline, number one? And the key to building discipline, people say all the time, I'm just not a disciplined person. You're right, you're not. But it doesn't mean you can't build it. It's not something you're just born with. Anything can be built, in my opinion, most things anyway. And discipline is definitely one of them. And one of the first steps to doing that is, number one, understanding what we're talking about here. So discipline, so actually word is Latin for ongoing personal learning that an individual chooses for himself or herself, consistently behaving by a set of principles. Possibly moving into integrity a little bit there with that definition. But the guys at Focus 3 talk about how discipline has been hijacked by the punishment world, where people think of discipline as, I have to discipline you because you showed up 3 minutes late or you didn't touch the line in sports or whatever. So you have to be disciplined. When I'm talking about discipline, we're not talking about an external force punishing somebody for not behaving a certain way. We're talking about an internal choice to embrace productive discomfort and a willingness to do necessary tasks repeatedly over time to get to where you want to be. So discipline, driven behavior, we call that being on the path. Jocko talks about a lot. It gives you freedom, gives you options. You're in control when you are disciplined. So the three keys to disciplined behavior: it's intentional, which means it's directed, it's thoughtful, it's purposeful. So it's intentional, it's purposeful, it means it's chosen. It's done for a certain purpose towards a certain goal. For example, like, it's good to work hard, but if you're working hard at the wrong things, that's not necessarily disciplined. And then it's skillful, means you can execute it with the amount of skill you have. Compare this to default. So there's discipline-driven behavior and there's default-driven behavior. Default is off the pass. You are out of control. You're not in control of your emotions at all. You're rigid. This is not freedom, which is kind of the dichotomy or the ironic thing about discipline. It actually gives you more freedom compared to being more rigid. So default driven behavior is impulsive. It's unchecked emotion. You're just going off your emotions everywhere. You're captured by the strongest emotion in the moment. You're on autopilot. Those are unchecked habits. Habits aren't a bad thing. Undisciplined habits are. So you just do what you do. You don't really even think about it. And it's resistant. It's resistant to change, to being uncomfortable. It's not open to change. Okay. So disciplined behavior is intentional, purposeful, skillful. Default behavior is impulsive. You're on autopilot and it's resistant to change. So the keys to discipline is a collection of intentional, purposeful, and skillful behavior. If any of those three are missing, then you tend to go towards default. Your body wants to be in default because it's comfortable. Your body doesn't necessarily want to be out of its comfort zone. Okay, but discipline-driven behavior, to get where you probably want to be, it's going to require some disciplined decisions repeatedly, tedious over time. That's the thing with this. We're not talking about these big, huge scale, like big-time productive changes or behaviors. It's a lot of this small, tedious things that you need to do consistently over and over. Keep stacking bricks one on top of each other every single day to get to where you want to be. So I'll wrap this up by how to build discipline. First, know what it is. We just talked about that. Know what principles you want to guide your behavior. Embrace the discomfort. Attack what is uncomfortable but will make you better in a productive way. Commit to doing tedious, boring, necessary tasks every day, and be willing to do that over time. So that's my practical application of this Strong 5 episode is pick something that here's the deal. You probably already know you need to do this. Now let's commit to it. Commit to doing something tedious, that's boring, but is necessary for you to get to where you want to be. For me, mine's going to be journaling. It's kind of a random one, maybe not the one you're thinking of, but when I journal, my mind is much more clear. I document things much better, and I'm gonna commit to doing it. I always fall off the wagon because it's tedious. It's sometimes boring. I kind of like doing it, but it's necessary for me to get my mind on the right track to get to where I want to be. All right, guys, that is the wrap on today's Strong 5 episode. Stay disciplined, stay strong. Until next time, peace.